Hi and welcome to Giggles and Yarn, my crochet channel. This is Nelly from South Africa. Welkom by Giggles en Gare. Bienvenue à tout et chacun. So now we're going to start sewing our two halves together. So remember, our teddy is this long one piece, and we just fold the back in behind the front. And so, like I said before, your face and your finishing off determines your whole teddy. So from here it can go any way, in any direction. Your face is already determined a lot, because you know you could have made just a normal little black eyes with a nosy and red mouth, and it's exactly the same pattern. This is exactly the same pattern. All that was done differently is the ears, face, and the finishing off. And this is also exactly the same pattern. But it's the face and the finishing that determines. Of course, this yarn is thicker and it was a bigger yarn needle. And it's fatter. So the stuffing was more. So with the same pattern, you can do so many different things. And I've already shown you this came out like a kitty cat. But it's exactly the same pattern, and this is a different finishing off. This yarn I got as a present, and also the yarn I'm going to use now I also got as a present for my son. But if you don't have an interesting finishing off, just take maybe double up some interesting colors of yarn, yellow and purple or something like that, and make an interesting finish. What I mean by finish is just the yarn you use to sew around the teddy to join the two halves together. So I'm going to start in this corner. You can start here at the now. All we're going to do is sew this teddy up with any yarn you want to use, and with single crochets all around. And I've just put a pin into my huggy-arm at the end and in the middle, so that I don't let the pin prick you, so that I'm kind of not, you know, unsure of where to put my hook when I sew. So for the beginning, take both yarns and make a chain, and then continue with one yarn. I'm gonna make a chain to begin with and a single crochet into that same stitch that we're working in. And now all I'm doing is I'm aligning the stitches and I'm making single crochets all around. With this 100% polyester, once it comes undone, it's almost impossible to find where your spot is that you were, where your stitches. So try to double up your stitches here and there, just to prevent any coming undone in the future. So just laboriously, lovingly, single crochets all the way around, and I'll meet you when I do my first little bit of stuffing. So just keep going, just keep going, keep going with your sewing together of all the sides of the teddy. And when I come around my arm here, I'm going to start stuffing a little bit. So now I've come all the way around with my huggy arm, and I came around the hand part. I've got this piece that's completely closed up already. So now I'm going to start stuffing. So there's not just It's a small arm, so there's not a lot of space to stuff in. But I've got a lot of yarn end cut-offs that I always keep. So I'm going to stuff with them. So make a long loop with your yarn and keep the loop out of the way so you don't stuff it inside your teddy. And then just take little bundles of yarn of cuts and stuff the teddy. So that's why we just do little pieces, otherwise you end up going in here with long knitting needles and things. So do, as you carry on, stuff your teddy all the way. So now I've done some more stitches, some more sewing up, and I think I'm just gonna like sew up to a point where I know I can still get my finger in there, just so that the sewing up process is not, you know, scary. I mean, not the sewing, the stuffing process. So I'll take some more of my offcuts and stuff them in there. Remember to keep this loop out the way, like I said, and get your stuffing in there. You can of course stuff your teddy with any kind of stuffing that you prefer. And so where my stuffing bundles, I just, you know, manipulate it a little bit with my needle, with my hook. And so just to get the result I want. You know, you can achieve so much with the way that you manipulate your stuffing, and we'll chat a bit more about that just now. So I've stuffed my second part. I'm almost done with the arm. I'm kind of halfway with the arm, the huggy arm for the teddy. But what I'm going to do at this point, because this polyester is such a runaway kind of yarn, I'm going to make a knot here. Just for myself, it's optional, but I found that it's just to kind of secure it. Because once it runs away, it runs away. I don't know, but those who have experience with 100% polyester will know what I mean. So it's just kind of like that. And in this piece we'll just stand up with the rest, or if it's too long I can cut it off. So now I've reached the end of my teddy arm. There it is. It can give a good hug. And I'm just going to end off here, and then I'm going to stuff the other arm. I just feel like that today, but you can start and end wherever you like. So here where I'm going to end off, I'm going to really tie it securely, so I know that it can't run away. So for my next arm, I'm just going to start at the bottom of the arm and then sew all around it, and like I said, stuff little bits as I go. So now I've finished with both arms. I've finished sewing them up and stuffing them. And as I said, we're going to talk about how you can manipulate the look of your teddy by how much you stuff, or how little you stuff it. So with these arms, I first wanted to stuff them a little bit, and then I realized that if I stuff them enough, I can actually make the hand come in, and I can make the arm bend more, and then it's not so sloppy. So it's quite neat to stuff more, because then it stays like that. And yeah, so here I've come to the end of my arm. I've got all these tails hanging out, so I'll just push them in to be part of the stuffing. In the past I used to tie them up here. Don't tie them together, because what happens is that they kind of form their own stitch there, and then you're not sure if you're going the real stitch or actually the yarn tying that you did. And sometimes the finishing off yarn can move away from the teddy, so don't tie these together. Just make sure they're knotted properly by themselves and then push them into the inside as part of the stuffing. So you have pulled up a long loop, and I'm just going to continue sewing this head together, and I'm gonna then have to do this little piece by itself. So after I've done this, I can stuff the head here, and at this point I can then determine what is the real look of my teddy and also do the ears. So before I continue with my sewing up, I'm going to again just tie my actual loop that I'm busy working with. I'm going to just pull it out a little bit, and I'm just going to tie it to the yarn, because like I told you, this polyester has a mind of its own. And then I'm going to continue. I also wanted to mention that make sure you're aware how your stitches fit onto each other up to the end, because if you just focus here, you might get here and there's not a proper fit or something. I found it with the arms. Then I had to kind of do decreases in a way, because it seemed like one arm had just a few more stitches than the other arm. So either use pins or just be aware ahead of time how your stitches fit together properly for sewing up. So now I've reached the ear, and because this is a real actual teddy bear face, I'm gonna just leave a tiny teddy ear here at the top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna go around. I'm also not gonna cut across. I'm gonna go behind this teddy ear and go at the top stitch there. So I'm just, from this point, I just insert my hook here, double there, from the back to the front, behind this pointy part, and then I'm just going to pull through, and I'm going to leave that eary deary there intact, and then I'm going to just start one more from the back. Gonna make one more from the back, and after I've made that one, I'll just continue from the front again. So just basically go through 2 stitches. So what I wanted to also say is, if you have favorite colors, don't use your favorite colors on the edges. Use them in the middle, because on the edges your favorite color kind of gets lost in the sewing up. Like that was one of my special colors for my teddy, but now it is lost there. So I could have used it in the middle here. So there's just kind of a tip. Alright, now let's go onto here, and remember, go behind this ear. I'll show you when we get it behind the ear, and carry on down. And then when you get kind of here, we can stuff our head, our face. So now I got to this end, and I'm here, and I want this pointy part to stay open like there. And so therefore at this point I'll go behind and come in from here. I'll just leave a nice part open and come in here, and then just make a single crochet at the back here, at the back of the ear. I made a single crochet there, and then I'll make one more single crochet here in the next stitch from the back, like that. and then I'll carry on from the front for the rest of the stitches down. Now I've come to a point where I just left a little bit of a gap in the face there to do the stuffing. So I'll pull up a long loop and keep your loop out of the way so that you don't stuff it inside your teddy. And then I'm going to take some of my yarn end cut-offs and I'm going to stuff them into my teddy head here until I am happy with my face. So continue doing that. So now I've stuffed my face and so now I've stuffed the teddy's face and I want some of my stuffing to go in there. So I'm just gonna push it in with the back end of my yarn hook into the ears there. I'm just gonna push them into the ears. I'm still deciding if I'm actually gonna tie the ears up around here, but I'm still thinking. So there's your facey face, and of course I'm gonna close it up here, but then there's all this part that still needs to be stuffed, and this I'll take in my stride once I do the sewing up of the legs. So at this point, you know, you can kind of manipulate your face a bit with your stuffing and do more or less stuffing, or do lots more or lots less. See what you fancy, and then it's always surprised to see the end result. So much fun, eh? Can't stop giggling. So now I've reached the last stitch of the head part, and here I'm gonna just pull tight, and I'm actually gonna make 2 stitches into that same space to just strengthen it a bit. And then I'm gonna make a chain, cut my yarn and pull through. Then immediately I'm going to chain the end tail and the beginning tail together. So I'm sure that my yarn is okay. And then at the end I'm going to just sew them into the inside of my teddy. So while stuffing, I find that not all my yarn ends that I cut off are the same length. Some are really long, and then it's difficult to stuff with them. So I'm just cutting randomly through my offcuts. I never throw my offcuts away. I never know when I'm going to need them, especially reindeer antlers. It's so cute to stuff with them because the colors show through the black or the brown of the antlers and look sparkly. It's very, very cute. So at this point, after doing the arms and the head, I realized that I can now also at the same time stuff the actual body, because basically there's this whole space that can now be stuffed before I sew up the legs. So I've stuffed this part, the body also, and now at the end we're gonna thread a yarn through here to separate this head part from the body, and we'll do that together later on. So now I'm just going to continue sewing up the legs. I'll start this side. If you're left-handed, you can start any side wherever you prefer to start. But I think I'll start here and go around and go around here and finish here to sew up the legs. And when I get here, I'll stuff this leg, and then when I get here, I'll stuff this leg, and I'll meet you here at the end. So now I've stuffed my whole teddy and I've sewn it up, but I haven't sewn it closed yet because I'm still deciding if I'm happy with the stuffing or not, and I'll decide after I've done this neck here. So for the neck, we're going to start in the middle here. So take any yarn that you like to make a little bow in the middle of the neck here. I found that using this polyester doesn't make a neat bow. So I'm just going to use one of my other favorite color yarns. It's a small piece that I've left from long ago. And so I just thread my yarn needle and I go in here in this bottom color, the bottom of the face color, so in there, and then I just go through every second stitch like that, and then here as well I'll just come through out here, and I leave a long piece in the middle here. Okay, then I'll just go through in the inside of the polyester and to get myself to the back, and then I do the same here. So here's some tails still that I'll work away at the end, and I just skip every second stitch here at the back. Don't go into the stuffing, that's what's going to happen, it comes out there. And then just go back through the polyester here again, and we come out in the same space here. Yeah, I try to measure what's the best way. I can't come out, I can come out in the same space, but I'll have to go through this. There's 2 stitches here, I'll come through them, and so now I've compromised. No, I haven't. Okay, so now skip those 2, and there's just one left here. I'll come out here with my other previous stitch. So now I have to be happy that I've got a long enough piece here to make a nice bow, and then I'll just cut it off the same length and I'll tie it. So while I'm tying it, I pull tight because I want to make this head thingy here. I'm not happy with it, so I'm gonna have to kind of move the stuffing a bit. So you can just play around with this. I'm going to labor at it a little bit until I'm happy, and then I'll come back. So now I'll finish stuffing my teddy and sewing it up and doing the bow. So I just took it up one row and tied it tight, and then here for the cheeks I just moved stuffing outward and down to make cheeks here, outward and down, but I can't get the ears right for proper bear ears because I think they're supposed to be round next time. So now this is a unique teddy that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. Sweetie pie teddy, and it can sit by itself, and it can hug, and it can stand. I'll make it stand. It can actually stand by itself. Lots of fun. So well done. So this was just this fun scrap yarn teddy soft toy kind of huggy arm little loving dovey creature. So if you want a perfect teddy bear, there are many such patterns on YouTube. This is just to use your scrap yarns and to make a teddy to give away and bring joy to a child. I hope you had lots of fun. I was just thinking that if you were specifically looking for this blue huggy arm teddy that was on the thumbnail in part 1, then you can use a 4mm crochet hook, double knit yarn, make the arms in length 40 chains, and then stuff the tummy very fat. Make no ears, just sew it up around and make a very basic face. Enjoy! Until next time, tot volgende keer. A bientôt!